Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I went ahead and filmed my deadlift workout and accessories for you guys today. And again, it's kind of showing everybody that even though I'm specializing in bench and regaining my bench strength, I am obviously still doing other stuff. And today was deficit deadlifts again for a little bit of volume, not counting the warm-ups. I ended up doing 6 work sets. Again, beltless deficit deadlifts, and people say, well, why is it a deficit? Well, because I'm on 1.5-inch plates and I'm in boots with at least a 1-inch heel on them, work boots. So it's deficit work. Now, you guys saw me there doing just a little bit of dynamic stretching, and this is my first warm-up set. And people have this misconceptions that somehow I'm against warm-up sets. Because of a video I did, and people completely misunderstood that because some other jackass made a video about it claiming that I'm anti-warm-ups and I'm going to get people hurt. Yet you guys watch me do warm-up sets in all my workout videos. So, I mean, it's really a weird idea that I'm against warm-ups. It's just so bizarre, the stupid stuff that people come up with. What I said was that warm-ups don't prevent injuries. I said warm-ups are still smart to do. And I think people should warm up. Totally different topic though as to why, but I'm not against warm-ups. I just don't think that warm-ups prevent injuries for the reasons that people think they do. It literally has nothing to do with your joints warming up temperature-wise. It's insane. It has to do with your nervous system priming itself. That's what we're talking about. But yeah, deficit deadlifts. So back to the point of deficits. Why deficit deadlifts? Because I need a little more training volume. I need to make sure that all these bigger muscle groups that get worked with the deadlift are getting enough growth stimulation to hold on to their size while I've been cutting. I don't want to lose any size. I don't want to lose any strength while I've been cutting. I'm 27 pounds in. That's been successful so far, but another 23 at least to go, and we need to maintain everything. And I feel like I need a little more training volume. Well, the problem is what? I'm doing bench specializing at the moment. That doesn't leave a lot of recovery. That makes recovery more difficult. Deficit deadlifts are easier to recover from than a normal deadlift. Why? Less weight on the bar, less axial loading. Yeah, you have to work harder with the same weight, so you end up having to do a slightly lighter weight, right? But it's less axial loading. It's easier to recover from. And so you can get away with a little more volume. And again, you're working everything through a longer range of motion, so it helps improve mobility. It helps improve speed strength because you're having to pop it from further off the floor. Deficit deadlifts are fantastic for people with the right structure, and I want people to understand I'm not advocating that everybody do deficit deadlifts. Right? They're not actually not right for everybody. And I'd say the biggest determining factor is how long your arms and legs are. I have relatively short legs and relatively long arms, right? You guys can see there. I'm 5'9". I'm not real tall. And no contrary to beliefs, people are like, oh, he's 5'7". Or it's like, guys, I'm 5'9". I'm actually 5'9" and some change, but I round it down because I don't care about my height. But you guys get the idea. 5'9", and look, I have long arms. I got ape arms. Look how long my forearms are. Deficit deadlifts are ideal for me because I'm built to deadlift. Deadlifting isn't difficult for me. It just makes it more difficult. Someone with really short arms, I don't know that I'd recommend this. Now, I am going to say, because I lifted around 10,000 pounds today, off deficit, beltless, strapless, I got a little bit fatigued on this. I'm not going to lie. 6 work sets, but even then, that 405 warm-up off of a deficit, that's almost a work set, isn't it? Getting close. Getting close. I mean, it's 10% less than my work sets. If we count that in, that's like 5 tons moved. I was a little fatigued. I'm not gonna lie, my hands were fatigued. So I was gonna do 3 sets of supine grip Pendlay rows. Guess what? I did 1 set and my hands and my biceps were throbbing. They were throbbing. Now, I did 3 sets of these the other day on a workout I didn't film, on my front squat workout, but today after the 6-7 sets of deadlifts, my hands were throbbing, my biceps were throbbing. These were just so difficult. I stopped at 1 set. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing these. You know what? I'll come back in 2 or 3 days when I do some front squats again, and I'll work them in then. Because I do chin-ups and stuff at home. So then I went over and did my abs. Standing core work as always. Guys are like, hey, you do this on every workout. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do a couple minutes, anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes of crunching, standing crunches. Um, Fantastic exercise. I think it's a great accessory for your deadlifts. I think for anyone who's going to be involved in a contact sport, a fighting sport, a field sport, I think standing crunches are great because you're going to be standing on your feet. All right, specificity of training. When you get hit on a playing field in the guts, you're usually going to be on your feet. You get hit in the guts in a boxing match, an MMA fight, a football game, you're usually going to be on your feet. Hell, you get hit by a car. You get hit in a street fight. The initial conflict's usually going to start with you on your feet. Specificity of training. It has better carryover to most things. Most endeavors, standing crunches are going to be better. Also, I do a lot of standing training. I need my core to be strong when I'm training. It's better carryover, specificity of training. And like I said before, I just did deficit deadlifts. Deficit deadlifts leave my hamstrings on fire sometimes, especially when I do more than about 3 sets. They leave them on fire. This seems to pull them back apart because if you look, I'm stretching the hamstrings with my abs at the bottom. Like I get a stretch, I feel it in there. It helps relieve some of that. All right, it helps seem to give a little bit of myofascial release. Really seems to help me recover faster from those deficit deadlifts. So I'm glad I do these. It seems to be multifaceted in the benefits, but I definitely notice it pulling my hamstrings because the hamstrings are so tight after doing the deficit deadlifts, and sometimes they're a little crampy. They cramp a little bit. Not always, but sometimes, depending on the workload. And this seems to just stop it. I mean, when I finish a set of this, my hamstrings feel good. So here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about what I'm doing here. So we're going to re-roll the actual deadlift stuff. That was the full workout, and we'll re-roll some of this. There's a little bit of third world squats with a little bit of dynamic bounce. Why? Dynamic stretching. Dynamic stretching is a better warm-up than static stretching. Dynamic meaning you're moving. You're not holding a stretch. All right, you can hold stretches with pause squats. You can hold a stretch at the bottom pulling into a deadlift. Dynamic stretching doesn't reduce performance. Static stretching does. Pre-training. Post-training is a different story. Before training, it absolutely does. There's data on it. And so again, I'm up here doing speed work. I'm pulling fast. The dynamic work helps get all my hips loose, get everything ready. And obviously, I'm squatting there deeper than I do even on these deficit deadlifts, but it gets everything loose, gets everything mobile, warmed up, ready to go. All right, a few seconds of dynamic stretching works wonders. And I find as I get older, stuff like that a little bit really helps. Now, as far as my setup and everything goes, you guys will notice I'm shoulder width, mixed grip. I get a lot of questions on the mixed grip. Do I feel the mixed grip causes imbalances? I've done whole videos on this. No, only in your biceps. All right. If you think about the line of pull involved, if you're even and your technique is good, your line of pull is not going to be different on your traps and lats and everything on a mixed grip. If it is, and you don't know how to perform a deadlift, the only muscles that get worked noticeably harder to create an imbalance is going to be on what? Your biceps. Well, if the deadlift is the only exercise you're doing for your bicep and you did a mixed grip with the same hand all the time, yeah, you would have one bicep grow bigger than the other. In my case, my right bicep is bigger than my left, so I use that one. Why? Because I've torn my left bicep. It's been injured. It's been hurt. It's had to be surgically reattached. I damaged it over a decade ago. And I try not to put it on camera too much because I've noticed when I do even my trolls and stuff, they want to get screenshots to show that my left side is smaller, and it's like, it's just ridiculous. When I admit it's smaller, it's public knowledge, right? I've shown you guys a scar on my arm. Public knowledge that it's smaller. Nothing I could do about it. Only thing I could do about it would be to put a bunch of synthol in it, get some PMMA injections, get an implant. I mean, what are you going to do? It's not worth it. That's stupid. It's stupid. Who cares? But my left bicep is weaker, so I always just do it the other way because that one's torn before. The right one's stronger, more resistant. So yeah, I grip it that way. But you know what? Deadlifts are not my primary bicep exercise, so it's not a problem. Not going to create a imbalance. Imbalance is already there, but it's not going to make it worse because I do chin-ups. I do rows. I do all sorts of other stuff that works my biceps besides the deadlift. So it really isn't a concern. And the same thing, people worry about things like really is the deadlift the only exercise you do for your upper back? If that's all you do for your upper back and you feel like it's getting imbalanced, all right, maybe change something up. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it probably isn't. It's probably in your head. People really worry about a lot of stuff that they don't need to. They really do. And they waste so much energy on things that don't actually matter. They don't really affect you in a meaningful way other than in your head. And if you don't let them affect you in your head, then they don't affect you, do they? Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.